Micah Trent was tired. His arms ached from 12 hours of repairing a cracked fusion valve. He was a maintenance engineer on the Ark Horizon, a massive human diplomatic ship traveling deep into neutral space. Their mission was peace. Micah's mission was to keep the engines from exploding. After reporting to the bridge and grabbing a protein bar, Micah walked into his small personal quarters. He sighed and stripped off his dirty suit. He always slept naked. It was normal for long space missions. No one cared. The ship's temperature was warm, and his bed was soft. The moment he lay down, sleep came fast and heavy. But when he opened his eyes again, everything had changed. He was cold. The air around him was cooler than it should have been. Micah blinked once, then twice. He wasn't on his bed. The ceiling above him shimmered like flowing water, made of some strange silvery metal. He sat up quickly. His heart beat faster. The floor beneath him was smooth, dark gray, and slightly warm. He looked down. Still naked. What the hell? He whispered. Micah stood slowly, trying not to panic. He turned in a slow circle. The room was round, maybe 10 meters across. It had no corners, no windows, and no furniture. The walls curved upward into a soft dome above. Everything was made of the same strange metal. It seemed alive, like it moved ever so slightly. There were no doors, no lights, and no sound, not even the hum of machinery. Micah's single quotes as training kicked in. He closed his eyes, took a slow breath, and focused. He had woken up in a strange place, but he wasn't hurt. He wasn't restrained. He could breathe. The air smelled clean, with a strange hint of flowers and metal. Okay, he muttered, thinking aloud. Not dead, not bleeding, probably not a dream. So, what is this? He stepped toward the wall and touched it gently. It was cool and firm but pulsed faintly under his hand, like it was responding to him. The metal rippled outward in a soft wave. Suddenly, a section of the wall shifted. A circular door appeared, and with a quiet hiss, it slid open. Micah stepped back, alert. A long hallway stretched before him, dimly lit, silent, and empty. He had a choice: stay in the strange round room or walk into the unknown. Micah thought. For only a moment. Better moving than waiting, he said, and stepped forward. The hallway felt strange under his feet. Not metal, not rubber, something softer. The walls pulsed faintly, glowing with a natural light that didn't seem to come from any bulbs. As he walked, he noticed the air change, slightly warmer, slightly sweeter. After about a minute of walking, he heard something. Voices, no. Whispers? Not exactly. They weren't sounds but feelings, like someone was pressing soft thoughts into his brain. Not words, just emotions, curiosity, caution, surprise. Micah stopped walking. I know you're there, he said aloud, unsure if it mattered. I'm not a threat. I'm just confused. There was a moment of silence. Then the hallway opened up. He stepped into a larger chamber. This one brighter and filled with faint mist that hung near the floor. Across the room stood 3 figures. They weren't human. They were tall, elegant, and alien. Their skin was smooth like polished stone, colored in deep purples and blues. Their eyes were large, fully black, without pupils. They had long arms and 4 fingers on each hand. They wore no clothes, only faint symbols glowing across their skin like tattoos. Micah froze. They didn't move. They only watched him, silently. One of them tilted its head slightly. In his mind, Micah felt it, calm, not dangerous, observing. He took a careful step forward. Hello, he said. No reply. But again, the emotion in his mind, now mixed with mild surprise. The alien seemed unsure what to do next. So Micah, still completely unclothed and still a little cold, did the one thing humans did best. He smiled. Not exactly how I planned to meet aliens, he said, shrugging. But hey, first contact is first contact. This time, he felt something stronger in his thoughts, amusement. He blinked. Was that? Did one of you just laugh? The 3 aliens stepped forward together, silent but coordinated. One of them raised a hand, palm open. Micah slowly raised his own and placed it against the alien's. His hand was tiny in comparison. The moment they touched, a clear voice echoed in his head. "You are not like the others." Micah blinked. The voice wasn't loud. It felt respectful. "Others?" he asked aloud. The voice continued. "We have tested many minds. Yours remains open." Micah frowned. "Tested?" There was no answer. Instead, the alien stepped aside and pointed toward another hallway. A choice again. Micah hesitated only for a second. He walked forward. Micah walked down the new hallway slowly, still barefoot, still completely exposed. But his mind was sharper now. The walls around him pulsed with soft light, changing color as he moved, blue, then green, then a calm white. He passed strange shapes. Along the walls, like art or maybe machines, they looked alive. Some moved slightly, as if they breathed. Others had symbols on them, glowing softly. He couldn't understand the writing, but it felt important. Finally, the hallway ended in a large open space, a chamber twice the size of the last. It looked like a kind of meeting room, but not like any he'd ever seen. There were no chairs, no screens, no tables, just floating shapes of light hanging in the air, moving slowly in circles, like planets orbiting a sun. 3 of the aliens were already waiting for him there, the same ones, he thought, that he had seen earlier. They stood still, watching him. Micah stood straight, pretending he wasn't nervous. Inside, his heart was pounding. One of the aliens stepped forward. Its tall body moved with smooth grace, almost like it was underwater. Micah spoke first. "You said I'm not like the others." "What others?" This time, he didn't hear a voice in his head like before. Instead, the alien pointed toward the lights in the room. With a soft sound, the floating shapes began to change. Images flickered inside them, one by one. Different alien species appeared in the glowing orbs, strange beings, some with shells, others with feathers, some large, some small. Micah watched as each image showed the same pattern, the alien waking up in a similar room. Confused, afraid, some of them panicking, some shouting. Then, each one was shown failing a test. Some tried to fight their way out, others simply broke down, crying or screaming. A few refused to move at all. And in every case, they were sent away. Micah understood. "You brought other species here," he said quietly. "You tested them." The alien finally spoke again, but not aloud, only in his mind. "We search for a mind that can remain still in uncertainty, one that chooses curiosity over fear. You are the first to do this." Micah blinked. "You teleported me, took me from my ship." "That's not exactly polite." The alien gave no apology. Instead, it stepped closer. "You were not harmed. You were not caged. We offered a path. You walked it." Micah couldn't argue with that. Another alien reached out and touched one of the glowing shapes. It shimmered, then shifted. Now, it showed Micah, lying asleep, then vanishing in a beam of soft light. "They scanned me while I slept." He realized, "You studied my brain." The voice returned. "Your thoughts were noisy, but pure." "Noisy?" Micah raised an eyebrow. "That's a very human thing." There was a pause, then warmth. In his head, the alien seemed to smile without faces. "Your mind is chaos, but not dangerous. Not like the others." Micah took a deep breath. He wanted to be angry, but something inside him said this was different. These aliens weren't cruel. They were watching, learning, testing, yes, but not torturing. "So what now?" he asked. "You've seen inside my head. What do you want?" The 3 aliens looked at each other, then back at him. "We want to understand. Your kind grows fast, spreads across the stars. But you bring stories, music, ideas, emotion, pain, hope. You carry meaning." Micah was quiet. It felt strange, being studied, praised, and questioned by beings far older and wiser than him. But it also felt good to know that something about humans mattered. "You want contact," he said finally. "Perhaps," the aliens replied. "But trust must grow first." Micah crossed his arms. "Then start by sending me back. My people need to know I'm alive." The aliens nodded slowly. Return is allowed, but you must choose. If you go back, we erase your memory of this. If you stay longer, you carry the truth and walk paths no human has walked before. Micah stared at them. A hard choice. Go home, forget all this, or stay, learn more, and become part of something bigger. He closed his eyes. He remembered. The long nights fixing reactors, the endless reports, the politics on the arc horizon. Then he opened his eyes again and looked at the aliens. I'll stay, he said, for now. The aliens didn't cheer. They didn't move. But the room grew warmer, the lights pulsing brighter, softer. Then you may see the echo chamber. The voice said, and learn what even our oldest ones have forgotten. A section of the wall opened, revealing a curved hallway filled with soft golden light. It looked peaceful. Micah nodded. Lead the way. He walked forward, no longer afraid, still naked, still unsure, but curious, and that was enough. Behind him, the glowing images faded. Ahead, the unknown waited. The hallway beyond the silver chamber glowed with soft golden light. Micah Trent walked slowly, each step feeling more strange than the last. His bare feet touched a floor that felt warm, almost alive. The walls around him shimmered like sunlight. On water, he felt calm but alert. Behind him, the three tall aliens walked in silence. They didn't speak with mouths, only through emotions and thoughts in his mind. So far, they had said little, but what they said had changed everything. Micah had made his choice. He had decided to stay. Not forever, maybe, but long enough to understand who they were and why they had chosen him. The hallway ended in a giant round room, even larger than the one before. It had no corners, no machines, no chairs, no control panels. In the center of the space floated a glowing orb, spinning slowly in the air. It was about the size of a car, glowing with soft colors, blue, gold, and deep green. All around the orb, floating shapes moved in quiet patterns. They looked like glass tablets filled with light and images. Some showed strange alien cities. Some showed faces, old, wise, with skin like crystal. Others showed stars, black holes, galaxies. Micah took a step forward. The air felt heavier here, but not in a bad way. It felt important, like standing inside a library mixed with a dream. One of the aliens spoke in his mind. This is the echo chamber. It holds our memory. Micah nodded slowly. Your history, more than that. Our thoughts, our feelings, our past, and our hope. The voices of those who came before. Micah stepped closer to the glowing orb. One of the floating tablets drifted near him, spinning slowly. Inside it, he saw something shocking. A human died in an old video. Perhaps a man in a spacesuit, walking on a strange planet. His face was pale, eyes wide with wonder. He was from Earth, clearly, but the background didn't look like any known colony. Micah stared at it. Is that someone from my species? The alien answered without emotion. Yes, long ago. Before your people understood the stars. He came here by accident, a broken ship, a weak signal. We watched him. He failed the test. Micah frowned. What happened to him? We returned him. He remembered nothing. That made Micah's chest feel tight. Why did I pass? What's so different about me? The aliens were quiet for a moment. Then one stepped forward and placed a long hand on the side of the orb. It flashed once. Suddenly, hundreds of floating tablets rushed toward Micah in a wide circle. They surrounded him like fireflies. Each one showed a memory, not of the aliens, but of him. He saw images of his childhood, building broken radios with his father. He saw himself on Earth, staring at the stars. He saw his training, his fears, his hopes, his loneliness on the ship. These aliens had seen everything. Micah turned slowly. Looking at the memories that surrounded him, you saw inside my life, yes. We learn through experience, not just facts, not just numbers. Another alien added, you feel pain, yet you do not shut down. You are unsure, yet you still walk forward. This is rare. Micah felt his throat tighten. He wasn't a hero. He wasn't special. He was just a tired engineer who liked to fix things and eat chocolate bars when no one was looking. But these beings saw more. You think humans are important? He asked quietly. We do not think. We sense, and what we sense in your kind is life. Micah looked back at the orb in the center of the room. What do you want from me? The answer was soft, but clear. Nothing. You have already given it. He blinked. What did I give? Proof that humanity is more than machines, more than conflict, more than hunger. That it is capable of thought, wonder, feeling. You reminded us of what we had forgotten. Micah turned and faced the aliens directly. So what now? One alien raised its hand. The orb in the center began to dim. The floating memories started to move upward, returning to their place. Now, you return. But this time, with memory? Micah's eyes widened. You're letting me go back? With all of this in my head, yes, you are not a soldier. You are not a leader. You are something more valuable, a quiet witness. Micah wasn't sure what to say. He felt a strange mix of emotions, honored, confused, hopeful, and still very, very naked. Just one request, he said, half smiling. Next time you bring someone, maybe give them a blanket first, for the first time. He felt it, laughter, not with sound, but through emotion, warm and real, noted. A soft beam of light appeared beside him, vertical and shining like a pillar. The aliens nodded toward it. Micah looked at it, then back at them. Will I see you again? Perhaps, when you are ready. He stepped into the light. One moment, Micah was standing inside a glowing alien chamber. The next moment, he was back in his room on the Ark horizon. Same walls, same small bed, same old uniform hanging on the hook. Everything looked exactly how he had left it, except the clock. Micah glanced at the digital screen near his bed. It was blinking softly. Only 10 minutes had passed. His heart jumped. 10 minutes? He said aloud. No way. He touched his chest. His body felt real. His mind was racing. But his memory was clear. The aliens had said they would let him remember, and they had kept their word. He ran to the mirror. Same face, same tired eyes, but something in his expression had changed, a kind of weight. Or maybe awareness. Micah dressed quickly and stepped out into the hallway. The corridors of the Ark horizon were quiet as always, with soft lights and smooth walls. Other crew members passed him, giving polite nods. No one seemed to notice anything strange, but to Micah, everything now felt different. He passed the engineering deck. Machines buzzed, panels blinked. It all looked so small now, compared to what he had seen. He tapped his communicator. Bridge, this is Engineer Trent. I need to report something unusual. There was a short pause. Then a voice replied. Understood. Come to command briefing room 2. Captain is present. Micah sighed. Here we go. A few minutes later, Micah stood before Captain Delaney, a tall woman in her 50s with silver hair and sharp eyes. Two security officers stood at her side. She looked him up and down. You missed a routine check-in. Trent, Micah nodded. Yes, ma'am. I think I was taken. The room went quiet. Taken, she repeated. Micah took a deep breath and told her everything, from waking up in the alien room, to walking the glowing hallways, to meeting the 3 silent beings. He described the echo chamber, the images, the test, and finally, how he chose to return with the memory still inside his mind. Captain Delaney didn't interrupt. She listened carefully, arms crossed, face unreadable. When he finished, she leaned forward. Do you have any evidence? No physical proof, Micah admitted. But I remember everything. Skin results show no damage. No brain tampering. Your body shows no signs of stress, she said, reading from a screen. And yet, you vanished from all ship sensors. For exactly 10 minutes. Micah nodded. I told you the truth. Captain Delaney looked at him for a long moment. Then, she said something unexpected. You're not the first. Micah's eyes widened. What? She tapped a panel. A file. Opened, protected with 3 codes. Inside it were records, logs, names. Unexplained disappearances of crew members on deep space missions. Always short, always less than an hour, always with no memory afterward. Until now. Micah stared at the screen. So the aliens have done this before. Delaney nodded. Dozens of times. Across different ships. But no one ever remembered. Until you. He sat down, stunned. Why me? He said quietly. I'm not special. I'm just a mechanic. Delaney replied, softer now. Sometimes, it takes someone simple to notice something big. She stood. I'll inform Earth Command, she said. We'll mark your report as classified for now. If what you're saying is true, we've made contact. Real contact. Micah looked at her. They said they might return. That they want to watch quietly. Not control. Not fight. Just understand. The captain nodded. Then we'll be ready. Days passed. Micah returned to his duties. Fixed plasma vents. Rewired old power lines. Pretended everything was normal. But inside, nothing was the same. At night, he would close his eyes and remember the floating memories in the echo chamber. He would hear the alien voice again. You are not like the others. One afternoon, as he repaired a damaged sensor near the outer hull, his communicator buzzed. Trent, said a voice. Come to observation deck 4. Now, he arrived to find a small group already waiting, scientists, officers, and the captain. They all stood around the main window, staring into space. Outside, far in the distance, a structure hovered. It wasn't a ship. Not fully. It was shaped like a ring, glowing faintly, slowly spinning. No engines, no weapons, just floating. And watching. The captain spoke. It appeared 1 hour ago. No radio signals. No movement. Just silence. Micah stepped forward. His heart raced. That's them, he whispered. They're back. Suddenly, a faint beam of light shot out from the ring structure. Not toward the ship, but into open space. It wasn't an attack. It looked like a projection. In the center of the beam, a holographic image appeared. Micah's face, everyone, turned to him. What is this? Someone asked. Micah stared at his own image in the stars. Then, in his mind, a thought came, warm and clear. You carry the voice. Micah Trent stood in the middle of the Arc Horizons conference room, fully dressed in his standard uniform. Yet, inside, he felt the same strange mix of nervousness and hope he had when he first woke in that alien chamber, naked and vulnerable. Facing the unknown. Around him sat representatives from several alien species, some familiar, others mysterious. The room was large and high-ceilinged, filled with light from glowing panels that projected star maps and data. At the far end sat the captain, flanked by senior officers and advisors. The silence was thick. Micah cleared his throat and began. Thank you for coming, he said. I'm here to share what I learned on the other side of the stars, to tell you about a race that watches us quietly, tests us, in hopes we might be part of something bigger. A soft murmur passed through the room. One of the alien delegates, a tall creature with translucent skin and many eyes, leaned forward. You speak of the Zarn? Micah nodded. Yes, they're ancient, silent. They don't seek war or conquest. They want understanding, to see if we, humans, can offer something new. Another delegate, a short, reptile-like being, hissed. Softly, they took you naked. Why? Micah smiled faintly. In their culture, clothing blocks honesty. Being naked means you have nothing to hide. They said it was a test, to see if my mind was open and curious. The reptile delegate looked skeptical. And you passed? I did, Micah said. Because I chose to stay and learn instead of running away in fear. After the briefing, Micah was taken to a special chamber, not unlike the alien rooms he had seen, but designed for humans. Soft light bathed the walls, and the air was warm. A communicator device sat on a pedestal. Micah picked it up and spoke softly. I want to talk to them again. Minutes later, the room shimmered. The 3 Jarnian aliens appeared, silent and graceful as before. Micah smiled. It's good to see you again. One of the Zarn nodded. You carry the voice. Micah frowned. The voice. The alien gestured to a floating orb nearby. Inside, shifting images appeared, scenes from Human history, art, music, and acts of kindness, your people's stories. The light and shadow inside you. We watch, we learn. You are not alone. Micah's heart swelled. Then what happens now? Now, you become the bridge. Days later, Micah was officially named the Naked Ambassador, a title both literal and symbolic. It meant he would represent humanity to the Zarn and other alien races who wished to observe or interact with humans. He trained in diplomacy, alien cultures, and languages. He learned to walk the delicate line between humility and pride. But he never forgot what it meant to be naked, not just physically, but emotionally. One evening, while reviewing reports, he was called to the observation deck outside the window. The ring-shaped Jarnian vessel hovered nearby, peaceful but powerful. Micah stood alone, looking up at the stars. A soft voice echoed in his mind, not from the Zarn this time, but from within himself. You carry hope, not just for humans, but for all who dream of peace. Suddenly, alarms sounded. The peaceful silence shattered, as unknown ships appeared on the horizon, fast, aggressive, and hostile. Micah's heart raced. The council assembled quickly. This is a test, Micah whispered. Not from the Zarn, but from others who fear change. The room buzzed with tension. But Micah knew what to do. He stepped forward. We will not fight blindly. We will show them who we are. Using his unique connection to the Zarn, Micah sent a message, not a threat, but a call for peace. The alien attackers hesitated. Micah's voice, calm and strong, echoed through the communication channels. We come in peace. We are not your enemy. Let us talk. Minutes passed. Then, slowly, the hostile ships lowered their weapons and opened channels for dialogue. Micah led the negotiations, bridging gaps between species who had only known fear before. His honesty, humility, and human spirit shone through. By the end, not only was war avoided, but new alliances formed. The galaxy, once cold and distant, began to feel like home. Micah smiled, knowing his journey, from waking naked in an alien chamber to standing as an ambassador, was only the beginning. Micah Trent stood once more before the great halls of the Jarnian world, but this time, he was not just a visitor or a guest. He was an ambassador, the first human to hold such a title among the stars. His uniform was neat, but he carried with him the lessons of that first strange morning. When he woke naked and alone in an alien chamber, he took a deep breath. The air smelled faintly metallic and warm. The tall Jarnian elders waited silently inside the vast hall, their dark eyes watching him with something like respect. Micah remembered the first time he had met them, when he had felt fear, confusion, and the sharp cold of vulnerability. Now, he stood before them with calm and purpose. Before entering the hall, he did something unexpected. He removed his uniform jacket and shirt, standing bare-chested as a sign of trust. He smiled softly. In the Jarnian language, the elders had explained, nakedness was not shameful. It was truth. It meant showing oneself without masks or walls. It was a way to say, I'm open. I have nothing to hide. Micah knew this was his moment to show humanity in its purest form. He walked into the chamber, his skin bare, and his mind open. The elders did not speak at first. Then one stepped forward, a tall figure glowing faintly blue. Ambassador Micah Trent. The elder said slowly, You honor us. You honor yourself. Micah bowed his head slightly. I honor the chance to be a bridge between humans and Zarn, between many worlds. The elder nodded. You carry the promise of your people, a promise of peace, curiosity, and courage. Micah felt a warmth spread through him. I promise to do my best. Weeks passed. Micah worked tirelessly. He traveled between ships and worlds, meeting alien leaders, sharing stories, and learning new ways of thinking. He taught others what he had learned from the Zarn. That strength came not from weapons or power, but from honesty and understanding. News of the human ambassador spread across the galaxy. Many species that had once been wary now reached out with open hands. Micah became a symbol, not just for humanity, but for hope itself. One evening, Micah stood on the observation deck of the Ark Horizon, looking out at the stars. The Jarnian ring ship floated nearby, a silent guardian. His communicator buzzed. The voice was familiar. The soft mental link of the Zarn. Ambassador, a new challenge approaches. Will you face it? Micah smiled. I will. We face it together. He turned back to the stars. Days later, a new fleet appeared on the edge of known space. Unlike before, these ships did not attack. They came with messages, offers of friendship, invitations to talks, and warnings of dangers beyond. The galaxy was changing. Humans were no longer strangers or simple mechanics. They were partners, ambassadors, friends. Micah knew the road ahead would not be easy. Old fears die slowly, but he also knew humanity had a gift, the ability to stand naked, to be true and brave, even when everything was unknown. He made his promise silently, to carry that truth wherever the stars led him. The story of Micah. Trent, the naked sleeper who became an ambassador, spread through space, a reminder that sometimes the greatest strength lies in being open, in showing your true self without fear, and that, perhaps, was humanity's greatest gift to the stars.